collector recently sent this incredibly rare billboard for an attraction at Earls Court in London. Now, this is likely the only known example of this poster. Think about it. This poster was originally printed in 1902, and it has survived for over 120 years. It's in 4 pieces, and those 4 pieces have stayed together for all that time. Now, take a minute to think about the life of this poster and what it's lived through. It's been through 2 world wars. It escaped being damaged by fire, water, and the many other ways a piece of delicate paper can easily be destroyed. It made it from Paris to London, and then finally to a collector in the United States. And now it's in my hands. So, the first step in the process of restoring this piece is washing the paper. Now everybody freaks out when they see me spray a poster with a mixture of water and detergent, but it's great for a poster like this. By hydrating the paper in this way, I'm removing dirt, stains, and acidic compounds that contribute to the degradation of a poster, while also neutralizing acidity and reinforcing the paper's structure. This treatment requires careful consideration of the paper's condition and should only be performed by a competent restorer like me. Once the paper has absorbed the water and detergent mixture, I'll gently scrub the face of the paper to remove any stubborn surface dirt from the poster. Stone lithographs like this one were printed with oil-based inks that were essentially pressed into the paper fibers, making the inks very stable and unaffected by water. I'll then cover the poster with a thin piece of plastic and use a squeegee to force out the detergent mixture and flatten the poster. When I received this poster, I was curious to understand what it was advertising, so I did some research and learned that this poster was used to promote an exposition that traveled from Paris to London, allowing Londoners to be transported into a vivid simulation of Parisian life, culture, and architecture. This was a cultural fantasy designed to dazzle visitors with a romanticized version of Paris without leaving England. There was a replica of a Parisian boulevard, and there were scaled-down Paris landmarks like the Eiffel Tower. They recreated Paris cafes, cabarets, and musicals so that visitors could experience what it was like living in Paris at the time. Now think about it. In the 1900s, there was no internet, there was no air travel, no television, no movies. So the only way to experience Paris, if you lived in London, was reading a newspaper or receiving a letter from someone who lived there. So, when this attraction came to London, it enabled people who didn't have the means to travel overseas to experience the beauty and culture of Paris. Once all 4 pieces have been washed, it's time to linen back the poster. The process of linen backing stabilizes the poster by adhering it to a stretched canvas with an archival barrier paper between the poster and the canvas. The adhesive that's used is a wheat paste that does not harm the poster in any way and is reversible with water if the poster ever needs to be taken off the backing. Our skilled team is able to mount these 4 panels together so that they all line up perfectly. At this stage of the process, we have to handle the poster with great care because the paper is incredibly delicate and is the consistency of a wet paper towel. We use sheets of plastic to handle the paper as not to do any damage to the poster while it's in this vulnerable state. Even though I have restored well over 200,000 posters over the past 3 decades, receiving a poster like this is not lost on me. I feel a great responsibility to the collector who entrusted me with this piece of history, and I want to make sure that we honor this poster with the highest quality restoration. After the poster has had time to dry, we are able to start the process of restoring any losses, tears, folds, and remaining stubborn stains that did not come out in the washing and deacidification process. Replacing the missing areas of the poster starts with finding a piece of paper that matches the color and texture of the poster. We have accumulated a large archive of donor posters from every decade and poster type. These donor posters are in such bad condition that they have little to no value. Therefore, their value is helping us replace missing pieces in a poster like this one so that it can be enjoyed for generations to come. We use a methyl cellulose adhesive to adhere the pieces we've prepared to fill in the missing areas of the poster. I'm often asked, what were these posters used for? Well, in the late 1800s, the streets of Paris were covered in huge, colorful posters like this one. This was primarily because of the artist Jules Cheret, who revolutionized color lithography in 1866. Cheret's innovations in lithography were instrumental in transforming the streets of Paris from black and white to color. This poster was designed by the artist Rene Pean, who was a painter, poster artist, and illustrator, who was also a student of Cheret and worked in a very similar style. Over his career as a poster designer, Rene Pean created over 150 posters, and this is an amazing example of one of them that has stood the test of time. Once the missing areas of the poster have been repaired, we start the process of restoring any color loss that has occurred due to tears, folds, and staining. Archival water-based art materials such as gouache, watercolors, colored pencils, and archival markers are used to touch up the poster. We use only water-based materials in the restoration process so that any work we do to the poster can be easily removed in the future if needed. Our team of restorers have worked on tens of thousands of vintage posters and are highly skilled in color matching as well as creating the correct texture so that the restoration is barely visible. While most people see 4 damaged pieces of rolled up paper that look to be unsalvageable, I'm able to see through the stains in the paper, the tears, the losses, and the decades of wear that's common in a poster of this age, and imagine what could be possible. By carefully replacing and repairing the missing paper and using the appropriate restoration materials, we are able to bring this poster back to life. I'm excited for the collector to unroll this poster and enjoy Rene Pean's incredible work of art for the Paris and London exhibition at Earls Court.